Hello friends, welcome back to our another video tutorial from Life's Biology. And in this video we will be talking about the evolution chapter topic, the character displacement. Okay, and that is very another similar idea with resource partitioning. Okay, and keeping one thing in your mind, that what was that thing, that we all know that if two species they belonging to the same ecological niche, they cannot coexist together without any kind of competition. Okay, they always end up with some kind of competition. And so what we can do, we can minimize the competition, or we can fight for the competition. Okay, that means if two organisms fight with each other, ultimately one will win and one will lose. The one who will win will exist in this environment or stay in this environment with the evolution, and the another who will lose will completely extinct from the environment. Okay, so the one species who will lose will completely extinct from the environment. Okay, if the second thing is chosen, that is to stay together by some mutual understanding, or we can say that by compromising with their habitat, or some kind of ecological niche. Okay, so these, and to do so, that there are some options like resource partitioning was one option. Okay, so let's see on the screen. We saw like they can partition and share their resources, so the species living in the top of this tree will not come down to this other resources for the species 2. They will only stay on their own partition space. See, their own partition space. That is resource partitioning that we saw. But now we are going to see character displacement. And that is another important thing, that if two organisms are living in a same environment, in the same region, together, still have the same niche, in that case, to minimize the competition, what they can do is that they can incur some kind of changes in their body, in their morphology. For example, finches. There are different type of finches available, and in finches, some of them have the beak of the finches are of such a variety. Some of them have very strong beak to crack seed of some fruit open. On the other hand, some have very thin and very long beak to take nectar from the flower. So depend on what they actually feeding on. So they try to make some more diversified nature of their morphology, so that they end up with less competition, because if they have some kind of morphology and they rely on same kind of food source to take, and some morphology they have, in that case they will end up with some kind of competition and they will end up some kind of problem. But if they changes their morphology, they diversify their morphology, in that case they will end up with less competition and less problem. So let's see on the screen. In case of character displacement, so the idea remains the same. That means if you take organism and if you look at the organism, let's say in this case this is a different idea I am going to tell you, but first I will give you an example. Let's say there are two different islands, see on the upper side the island 1 and the downstream side the island 2. Two different islands we're talking about, and we're also talking about two different species in those islands. Now one is a species A and the other species B. Okay, now if we see these two species, they have same niche and they have same kind of beak structure, right? They have very strong beak structure to crack the seeds of some fruit to survive. That is the food source for that organism. Okay, so species A and species B, beak size and shape are similar, very similar. If they stay to two different islands, so species A island 1, no species B here. Species B in island 2, no species A is present here. So what we see here, if I check in a graph as their big size, what you find that they are same type of, they have very similar, same big size there. Okay, now by any mean we find a third island, okay, where both of them forced to live together. both of these organisms, despite of their same niche, tends to live together in this island, and let's call it island of death, okay, just to make a fun, okay, island of death, okay, or island of competition, whatever you say. Now in this island, if those two species stay together, and they have to, in that condition, they have to do this, and now if we take species A and species B, after several years of staying together, we don't know how many years, but several considerate years to have evolutions and morphological modification, right? Now if we take both of them and measure the big size, we'll see difference in big size, okay, and the more time they stay together, the difference is much more, right? This is called the character displacement. That means if two organisms stay in a different habitat, in a different region, in that case, this type of species have similar morphology. But if two organisms stay in same habitat, they tends to have distinct morphology to minimize the competition, right? Same species we are talking about, when they present in separate habitat, separate location, they have more morphological similarity and less dissimilarity, or same kind of morphological features, because they don't need to change their morphology, because they present in different habitats, they can present on their own way. But if they forced to present in the same region, they have very distinct morphologies, right? That is character displacement. That means the character of that organism displaced when they are placed in a different, when they are placed in the same habitat. So when two species present in the same habitat, they originate from the one species, we call it a sympatric species, right? Same reason the organism separated sympatric species and allopatric species. There are two types of thing out there. So sympatric and allopatric, you are all know that, right? So in sympatric species, if you see in this condition, they have this type where they have less similarity, and in allopatric speciation, however, the geographic speciation, however, you see if you same type of morphology. So that is the idea for sympatric species. Lots of character displacement, right? So guys, because they have to do lot of character displacement for staying with each other without any kind of competition, still they might end up with some competition, but they minimize it in much more extent. So that is the idea of character displacement. Okay, I hope you understand this topic about the character displacement, and if you like this video, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and definitely subscribe to my channel to get more and more videos like this. Thank you. Bye bye.